Welcome everyone to part 3 of the Stylized Western Saloon. So what we're going to do in this one is we're going to create the roof and we're going to create the support. So the first thing we'll do is we'll grab hold of this part, we'll hide it, we'll press Shift S and we'll just make sure that the cursor is to world origin, that's this thing here, and then when we bring in our plane, which we're going to bring in now, it's going to appear right where the cursor is. Now we're going to make sure we've got hold of this plane, pull it back, and what you want to do is you want to make sure that it's in just past this point of the post, so it goes all the way along and it is past that point, and then you're going to bring it up so it's just under, so just about there. Press 7 again, S and X, let's stretch it out, and what you want to do is you want to stretch it out so it's at round about these points of the post, and I know they might be a little bit different just so it's roundabout. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go to edge select, grab this edge, 7 again, and just pull it out without proportional editing on, just so it's past this point. If you press Z, wireframe, you can see how far out it's going. And I think I want mine round about maybe a touch in, because we're going to have some posts in here and they're going to go halfway in to the planks of wood and halfway out. So that's important to know. Right, press Z, solid, back to EV renderer, and now what we're going to do is we're going to press tab, right click, origin to geometry, Shift D, enter, RZ 45, and now we're going to put this on normal, and then we can pull this out to get it into the right place. And again, we want it just in there like the other one. So if you want to click on this one, or you can click on them both and just check to see how far this one's in, and that looks about right to me. So now I've got that in enough, what I'll do is I'll press S and X, bring it out, and what I want to do is I want to make sure that there's a little bit of a gap down here. I don't want my roof tiles coming all the way past there. And now what I'm going to do is as well, I'm going to pull this back just a little bit so we've got enough room for roof tiles coming down here. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. So I'll press tab, Shift D again, RZ -90, and that then is going to give me the right angle to put it up on the other side. So I'm going to again pull it out just so it's near the edge, press 7 on the number pad, bring it out, and what I'm looking for is again just to make sure it's in around about the same. It doesn't need to be perfect. Of course you can line them up here as well, but I'm not going to do that. I want it a little bit maybe messed up, just a tiny bit. So now what we'll do is we'll join these all together. So I'll click on this, shift click, Control J, and now we'll come in with edge select, grab this edge and this edge with shift click in, and press the F button just to make a face. Now if your Blender doesn't make a face there, it normally means that you've got these crossed over. So just grab this edge before making the face, pull it back a little bit, and then try it again. It should work absolutely fine. So let's grab these two now, F, make the face. Okay, so I'm happy with how that is so far. So what I'm going to do now is press Alt Shift click along this edge on the outer, press 1, and I'm going to then pull this down to make the slant for my roof. Now it's important that when you're pulling it down that you don't want to go too far. So let's say you're taking a shot here or a picture here, you still want to see the saloon that you spent all that work doing. So just make sure that they're not pulled crazily down or anything like that. Okay, so when you've done that, then we can start actually on our roof tiles. So let's Control R, left click, right click, and we're going to make an edge loop in here. So left click, right click, let's do the same along here, left click, right click, Control R. Now we're going to make the main part of it. So 4, left click, right click. You might want to make yours smaller, but I think I'm happy with how mine going to be there. So now I'm going to press Control R, 5, left click, right click, and I think I'm happy with the size of these tiles. Just make sure you are, and I'll do that on the other side now. 5, left click, right click, and on this one I think I'll do 4. So 4, left click, right click, something like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove these 3 edges because I don't want roof tiles that are this tiny. I want them relatively big, and these ones will be doubled up. So I'll press delete, dissolve, edges. Now you still will have a problem when we extrude these of this roof tile. It'll still have an edge going in there, and we'll sort that out as we go along. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come to face select, and we're going to press Alt Shift and click, and just make sure that it's following all the way around. And what we want to do is we want to do that for the rest of them now. But I will show you one more trick actually. So like with this one, when I press Alt Shift click, it doesn't actually go round. So what you can do instead, if I press Alt Shift click just to take that off, Shift click this one, go all the way around to this one and press Control on this one, and you'll see then that it just follows it all the way around. And you can do this on edges or faces or verts, and it should work on any of them. So now I've got all these grabbed, I'm going to press Y, split them up, press G just to make sure they all are, and now we can work on splitting these up individually. And now what we'll do is we'll press Alt Shift click, grab all these again, and what we're going to do is split them up individually. So once you've grabbed them all, come up to Select, go down to where it says Checker Deselect, press the Y button, and then press G, and it should have split them all up. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do exactly the same thing. So I'm going to click on this one, Control click on this one, select, checker deselect, press the Y button, and now it's just rinse and repeat on the rest of these. So select, checker deselect, Y, and now let's grab this one, and we can do a quick check as well just to make sure that we've got them all. So now let's click on this one and select, checker deselect. Okay, so put this on global now, go to these two little links, click on individual origins, press A, grab everything, press the S button, and you'll see there that I've got two missing here, which for some reason didn't work. So let's come to this one now. I'm going to Alt Shift click them round, select, checker deselect, Y, and I must just have forgot to press the Y button, so just make sure that you're checking yours. So Y, grab them all, press the S button, and now you can see that they're all absolutely fine. And the last thing is, while you've got them all selected, press Ctrl E and mark seams. Now if yours are on edge select, just right click and mark seams. You can also do it that way, as you know. So now what we need to do is we need to extrude them out. But before we do that, we're just going to come up to these two little links, and I'm actually going to click on this, go down, and I'm just going to turn my seams off. It's just going to make it a little bit easier to see what we're doing. So just click that on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually extrude it out, but we're not just going to press E and pull it out. We're going to press E, enter, and now we're going to pull it up on the Z axis like so. We're going to pull it up and just make sure that you're happy with the size of your tiles. You don't want them too chunky. These might be a little bit too chunky, and you've got to remember that we're going to be bringing these down as well. So something like that I think is about right for me. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm on individual origins. I'm going to press S, and I'm going to bring them all in to something like that. Now before we actually bring these down, what we'll do is we'll grab this one, and you'll see that there's two vertices together here, and I don't really want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press delete and limited dissolve. And now we'll go on to the most tedious part of this, which is selecting all of the bottom parts of the tiles ready to be pulled down. And it is very tedious. I did look into trying to do this a quicker way by making a vertex group before I actually extruded these, but unfortunately it didn't actually work too well. So I decided that I'll just have to bite the bullet and do it this way. I mean, it takes a couple of minutes just to grab them all, and it's probably quicker in the long run than actually creating that vertex group. Okay, so try and make sure that you don't make a mistake, or you'll have to repeat this process all over again. Okay, so now I've got them all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Z-axis again. I'm going to pull them down to something like that. And now this should start to resemble a roof tile. So let's now bring in a material just to see what we're doing. So I'll click new. I'm going to call this roof 1. I'm going to come over to my base color. I'm going to go to my hex this time, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Ctrl V, and this is a color that I already set up. Now you can have whatever color you want, or you can copy this. Just type this into the hex, press enter, and this should go something like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make 4 more, the same as we've done previously, and let's rename them. So roof 2, roof 5. There we go. So now let's copy this one. So copy material and let's just paste it to the other ones. That wasn't right. Let's copy the material, paste it to the others, like so. Okay, so let's press tab and we'll go to roof 2 and we'll select just some random ones. And we're going to do pretty similar to what we did with the planks. Something like this. So look, maybe that one. And if we need to change some, then we will. I'm just trying to randomize them a little bit. Alright, something like that. Got 2 together here. Don't really want that, so I'll press Shift L just to take that off. And what we'll do now is we'll press tab and we'll make these a little bit lighter. When I assign them, there we go. And there we go, they're assigned now. So let's make them a little bit darker, a bit too light, I think. Something like that. Press tab, H, let's hide those and move to number 3. So I'm going to try and pick a few out at random. Let's have that one. Okay, let's assign, and we'll make these ones a little bit darker. There we go, something like that. And let's press tab, hide, roof 4, sign. And remember, we've got one which we haven't hidden, so we've actually got 3 within here, so we don't need to make too many more. So like this. Alright, something like that. Let's hit sign, tab, and let's maybe change this color a little bit, something a bit warmer, maybe, something like that. Let's have a look if we can make it a little bit darker or lighter. Yeah, and I think I'm happy with that. So tab, hide those, and let's do number 5. So we just need to really split these up now. We've got a few together here, so I'll click on this one. I'm just trying to basically split them up. So we've got some that are okay there. And you can see we've got a fair few together here. So I'm just going to split them up like so. And I've got 3 here together. So what I'll do is I'll take this one off, grab this one, and then that'll split those up. And we've got 2 together here as well. So I'll grab this one here. And just looking around to make sure the rest, and you can see I've got 2 again together here. So I'm going to have 2 together here, so what I'll do is I'll just assign the other one to those. So I'll click on these, assign, and then I'll click on this one and maybe assign number 2. Let's have a look. So I'm going to press tab now, and now when I change my 5 I can see them change over. So let's have a look now, changing this color. First of all, make them darker, and then I'll change the color very slightly, something like that. And maybe that's a little bit too dark, so let's make it a little bit lighter. And there we go. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. Most of them are different. So now the next stage of this, Alt H, let's bring them all back, go to face select, double tap the A, and what we're going to do now is actually start working on the edges. So I'm going to use G to do this, just to give it a bit of free movement. And I'm just trying to pull them out, rotate them a little bit, and just make them in general just look a bit different from the other ones that are near them, to make them a bit more. And you can see here that I've pulled this probably way too far. We don't need them stood out that far. So let's do this edge now, maybe rotate it round again, pull it out a little bit, let's stick this one in. And we just need to do around the outside edges that are going to be seen. We don't need to do these ones, so that's nice. Let's rotate this one round this time instead. Maybe the other way. I think that'll be better actually. Yeah, that'll be better. And this is a focal point of the build, so it's better to take your time. Make sure that they look good and you're happy with them. Oops, not the top. Don't want to do those yet. And I'll just rotate that round just a slight bit like that. Alright, so that's coming together nice. And now, of course, the last one we need to do is to come to Edge Select, Proportional Editing, and I find first of all to do the smoothing. So grab them like this, put it on normal on this side, and let's press G and bring it out just a little bit. To do the normal, to do the proportional editing on smooth first, and then when you've done that, then you can work with the randomize on. So let's pull them about a little bit, and you can see that we need to split these up a little bit. Oops, that one. There we go. Because I'm doing this for this YouTube course, I'm sure that you guys might actually make better roofs than what I'm doing here. So let's have a look what that's looking like so far. Okay, so now let's come in and put it on random, turn it on, and now let's try moving these. So I'm just gonna move them a little bit like so, and I don't want to break in them, as we know we don't want holes in them. It'll make it just not look right. So I'm going to grab these as well and move these up now as well a little bit, move them down, and just get some real randomness going. And that might be a bit too far away, so maybe not that far, bit less. And I do want this edge breaking up a little bit. They're a bit too similar there. Or might be a little bit too far as well. So very slightly. Okay, so starting to come together now. Again, too much. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So double tap the A, and that is looking very nice. And you can see they look very randomized and very stylized. So that's the roof done. I'm happy to get that out of the way. Actually, it's one of the hardest parts to do. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make our post support. So let's press Shift S, cursor to world origin, just make sure that's in the center. Shift A, let's bring in a cube, and we'll bring it out a bit. And we want these supports to be half in and half off. So half against the planks and half outside of them. Now, I don't want them too thick. They're not holding up a skyscraper. It's just basically a really kind of small roof actually. So let's just pull it back that way just to get this thing measured up. And we definitely want them smaller than these posts. We'll probably want them around the size of these posts, to be honest. So let's press tab, face select, grab the top face, pull it up, not through there. And you can see that this is probably still too thick. So let's grab it, press the S button, SZ, bring it up, and that's looking actually a lot better. So once you've got your sizing correct, press the tab button, bring it out, Control A, all transforms, right click, set origin to geometry. Now let's bring in our next part. So we're going to click mesh, cylinder, and here is our cylinder. It's appeared where obviously our cursor is, and you should get a little menu down here. Before you touch this, just make sure you change the vertices. It will be on 32. Just change this to 12. What this does obviously is it makes the amount of vertices going around it more or less, and we definitely don't need 32, so let's put it on 12. Bring it out, turn it round, RX 90, so it's the right way. Press the dot button so we can zoom in, and so we can actually turn around the center of mass of this. And let's try and put this into some kind of place which will be against this post. So now let's press SY, just bring it in a little, and then let's lift it up, and then let's get rid of these two faces that we don't need. So this front face, back face, delete faces. And what we're going to use is we're going to use probably these three polygons here. So if we get rid of this one and this one, press delete, faces, L on this, delete, faces, and then we should be left with just this part. So let's press 1, bring it up, and at the moment you can see that it's probably not a very good angle. So let's press SZ and just squish it down just a little bit like so. Come on to edge select, grab this edge, EZ, pull it up, and then let's do the same with this. So EX, pull it out, something like that. And now we'll just make it a little bit thinner just before we use our modifier. So SY, get it to the right thickness so we can see what we're doing. And that's looking about right. Still might need squishing down a little bit, but we'll have a look when we bring in our modifier. So now what we'll do is we'll click on our post and we'll add in our material. So plus, whoops, not new. Bring down this material and we're looking for wood post. Okay, so now let's grab this one, Control A, all transforms, right click, set origin to geometry, ready for our modifier. Click this spanner, add modifier, and we're going to add in a solidify. Let's make the thickness the other way, a bit thicker, and you can see now it's really starting to come together. Make sure that you tick even thickness on. If not, it won't follow it straight round like this. It won't be parallel to it. So you'll see when I click this on, just changes it slightly and just makes it much more neater. Okay, so when you're happy with the thickness, click apply. There's no point leaving it off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come to this one first, and we're going to go to face select, select the top and the bottom face, and delete faces. Let's come to this one. In fact, we'll just hide that one actually with H. Come to this one, materials, and come down to wood post. Okay, and then we'll press tab, face select on, delete this face and this face, delete faces. Okay, so let's press tab, Alt H, bring them back. Let's do this one first. Right click, shade smooth. Same with this one. Little triangle, auto smooth, and same with this one. And you will notice that even though we shade it smooth, we've got a little edge here, and that's because we're not using very many polygons on this, of course. So just turn it up a little bit, and that should take that off of there like that. You might want yours on there, but I don't. So now what I'm going to do is, before I bevel them, I'm just going to pull them back to where they're going to go. And what I'm looking for now is to make sure that this is the right height. So you can see here that this might be a little bit too far down. So if I make it smaller, bring it in, pull it up again, and then just check to see if I'm happy with the height of it. And I'm happier with it there. The only issue is, of course, I need to bring it out, press the dot, and I'm just going to make it wider now. So SY, let's make it a little bit thicker just so it fits the scene a bit better. And I think I'm happy with it like that. Okay, so now what we want to do is we just want to make 2 of these. So I'm just going to press Shift D and grabbing them both. And what we're going to do now is I'm just going to grab this one and this one. We're just going to hide them out of the way with H. And now let's work on this one. So Control R, 4, left click, right click, and now we'll do tab. Grab this one, tab again, Control R, 4, left click, pull it up a little bit just so it's a little bit different to this. And we're going to do what we've done on all the previous ones. So let's start grabbing this one. Let's put it on smooth, and let's start now pulling it out with proportional editing on. There we go. Make it a little bit smaller, and let's just start pulling this out again. I like the bottom of mine to be a little bit thicker than the top, something like that. And now let's start manipulating this around just to make sure it's very uneven like the other post we've got, and that one looks nice. And let's now do the same with this one. Maybe that's a little bit too much. Let's pull this one out, make it a little bit thicker, something like that. Alright, so something like that. Alt H, let's bring in these 2 and we'll hide these. We don't need to add any more edge loops in this, so let's grab this. I'm going to press G this time just to manipulate. I'm going to make it a bit smaller. I just want to do it a slight bit, so let's pull it out just a little bit. just to make it not quite even. Okay, that's that one done. And now let's do this one. So G. Something like that. Let's have a look. Alright, so Alt H. Let's do this one first. So we're going to add a modifier now. Our friend the bevel. Let's bring it down to 0.2. Let's do the same on this one. 0.2. And then this one. And 0.2. Okay, press tab, double tap the A, and now just have a look round and make sure that you're happy with how they look. Now, the last thing we need to do is we're going to actually apply our modifiers on all of these, because what I want to do, instead of just Shift D in copy, so I will show you, so we'll grab both of these, we'll press Shift D, pull it over, and what will happen is this then will make a copy of this, and it will double the amount of polygons based on this one, obviously, because it's made a copy of it. Now, if you come in and want to manipulate this one, for instance, so if I pull this out, nothing happens to this one because this is a separate copy. So if I delete this though, and come to this one, and press Alt D instead, pull it out, now what we're going to do is we're going to make a linked copy. So Alt D is great if you want to save on performance, save polygons, or if you're making a bunch of trees and you want to actually change how the trees look. Because the great thing about this is, if I click on this one, press the tab button, you'll notice this one also gets highlighted. So when I grab this now and manipulate it, it also changes this one. But if you press tab and you just grab this one, you just want to make it smaller, you can actually make it smaller or rotate it round, anything like that you want to do. So it's really, really great, as I say, for saving on performance or making a lot of something, but just changing them very slightly or changing them entirely. It's up to you. So let's delete both of these for now. Now, the most important thing though, before you actually use Alt D, linked copy, is that you just make sure that your transforms are all set. So reset transforms, set origin to geometry. And let's just go down now and just reset all of these back to 0, so that when we do copy them, we're not going to have any problems. So right click, set origin to geometry. So let's grab these two and these two, let's pull them back into place where they're going to go. So I said halfway between, so let's do this one here first, like so. I think I'm happy with that one, so I'll grab these two here, so RZ 180. And you'll notice that they've turned like that, and the reason for that is because I need it on medium point. So RZ 180, let's turn them round, pull them out to where they're going to go. Double tap the A, and like I say, this is the last time you're going to check just to make sure they're fine before moving on and making some more. So I think that, let's have a look, I need to move this one out just a little bit more. And now while I've got hold of this, I'm going to press Alt D, bring it round, spin it round a little bit, so it'll be RZ45, put this on normal, and now we can manipulate this into place. So let's bring it down to here, like so, halfway in, like so, and then Alt D again, bring this one roughly into the middle of them both, so maybe a little bit here, something like that, and I'm going to actually spin this round, so RZ 180, spin it round just to make sure that it looks a little bit different from these two. And I'm going to grab this one, Alt D again, RZ 180, spin it round, and put that in place like that. And they should look actually a bit different, which they do. So double tap the A, and there we go, kind of Mexican theme or something like that going. So now let's grab this one. So we're going to press Alt D, enter, pull it out, RZ minus 45, and let's get this one into place. So pull it down, halfway in, something like that. So we've got that little gap there. Let me check that one. Yeah, that one's got the same. And then what we'll do is press Alt D, bring it down halfway in, RZ, 180, spin it round, fit it back into place, grab this, Alt D, RZ, 180, spin it round, and you might even on this one just want to rotate it just a little bit, so RZ, something like that, just to make it look a little bit different. And you can see maybe it's a bit lower on this one, so I'll just pull it up a little bit. I just want to check though and make sure that it's not poking through my roof, which it's not. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, so on the next one, what we'll do is we'll start on our walkway going around here, and we might even start on our actual saloon logo, which is on the front. So I hope you enjoyed that one. If you liked it, give me a like please guys. It really helps this go up in the YouTube rankings, which means more people will be able to come and have a go at this. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot everyone. Bye bye.